Well, hello, everybody. I tell you what, you can't help but not just, that's just got a cool sound to it. That's George Michael's Cowboys and Angels. Bosto, everybody, favor be unto us all. And how you doing? Happy birthday. And if you're having an anniversary, same back to you. Hello, everybody. So good to see you. Thank you for joining our little group here. Even though this is, I guess, what, technically Christmas Eve. Hello, Deborah Truex. How you doing? And Lucky Stone, good to see you. So good. Yeah, a little early, ain't I? When you got it, just get it out there. That's the way I look at it. So I trust everyone is doing well. Thank you, moderators and everyone else. Cass, how you doing? Nina the Mystic, good to see you. Hey, Martin and Heidi, good to see you. And Charlene, Peter, and Wendy, and everybody else. I that particular song specifically is forever. Hey, Susie Q. Etched into my memory. 25 years ago, 1995, I was living in Knoxville, Tennessee. And on December 24th of that morning, I was living right off Cedar Bluff Road in a condominium complex. And I was going to be going out of town, and I had finished packing my car. I had come back in and was, getting out of the shower. And I had a pair of sweatpants on. And I lived on the first floor, and I had French doors that led out into the patio. And I'm standing there, and then literally the next thing I know, I am on the floor. My French doors are blown in, and there's glass everywhere. And I'm trying to figure out, what's going on, what just happened. And when I got up, I looked out because I could see the parking lot now. Um, there was a car that had exploded, was on fire. And I ran out, and I didn't have any shoes on. And when I got, my car was parked right next to this car. All of its windows on one side had blown out, which had been my side where I had parked my car, and its windows were blown out, and there was glass everywhere. I could see an individual in the car. And, there's just some things, folks, that you just, are forever etched in your mind. I tried to save the guy. He was already dead. I have still got the burn scars on my hand where I went to try to pull on the door, and it was so hot that, yeah. So that was my Christmas Eve 25 years ago. And the interesting, and why I always play George Michael's, because that's what I had in my stereo. I had a Pioneer stereo, the tower. And yeah, so, and I never knew the guy. I remember distinctly his wife and his daughter standing on the other side of the parking lot. Of course, they were in shock. And yeah, so anyway, there you go. Yeah, and obviously that forever impacts your Christmas. It's like, okay, we don't celebrate Christmas now. I mean, but yeah, so ho ho ho, right? And then the strangeness that happens afterwards, there was the police, and the ATF got involved, and oh man, it was just crazy. Anyway, so how the heck is everybody? Good to see you. Hey, Robert V, good to see you, my friend. I understand you've got a show tomorrow. I'm going to try to stop by and say, hey, what's up? Hey, Robin, good to see you. Morning Star, hello. So, yeah, tonight on the Steiger Perspective, tune in. 8 o'clock my time, 10 p.m. East Coast, artistfirst.com. The theme for tonight is Uranus moves into Taurus. So Uranus has moved into Taurus, and it's, I wish it, this is when you'd like to have the astrologers and like to have, you know, Jenny and Amber and Nina and the other card readers, because all indications are, and I am not an astrologer, but every billionaire has an astrologer on their payroll. Yeah. Tell me why, huh? Tell me why. I'm hearing Neil Young now after the gold rush. There we go. And it's like, man, you pull that card and you go, oh crap. Can I do a do-over, please? If anyone can give and shed light on it, I'd like to hear from you. Hey, Bonnie, what's up? Mike, good to see you. Peter, hello. Let's see. Hello, Lois, good to see you. And hello, Red Roof, good to see you as well. So, hey, Darth. So there we go. I heard the Klingons are circling Uranus. Well, you know, whoever named that planet did, you know, you have to say it takes a lot of joking, but those who are in the know and much more powerful people than, you know, they would consider us to be, but in the world, they're preparing. So what does it bring? It brings war, brings pestilence, brings financial upheaval, political upheaval. Yeah, this is what it brings. And yeah, there we go. So check it out. You're really going to enjoy it, because you get into things that we can't say here. This is censorship, and it's just what it is. Da, 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 da. Spirit Woman Call, I'm reading that. Yeah, you know, it's funny. And it's really odd, because most people have the custom of going in debt, exchanging presents, and getting into the material thing. We don't. Besides that, you know, when you think about it, most of these holidays were once at, you know, no holidays at all. They were at pagan festivals, but then they became sacred days. There you go. So, speaking of propaganda, Lucky Stone, I talk about that tonight in depth. Yeah, there's a lot of it. Where's the ark? I have no idea. And you know, and if the ark does exist, then we've got more problems than what we can even imagine. I personally don't believe it did. If it did, it was an alien artifact. And I got the sense that when Yahweh got the hell out of here, he took that with him. I don't think he was going to leave anything behind that us humans could ever get a hold of, because, you know, we would end up destroying ourselves. And some say that's what we're doing now. So anyway, here we are. Hey, Eyes to See, what's up? Good to see you. What else going on? Or ARC. ARC. I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I think we are on this yellow submarine. I'm just trying to look at the chat room. Don't get to do that too often. Always good to see what y'all are talking about. Well, thank you, Brandy. 617. Maria, how you doing, dear? So I've been seeing some of your videos. Trust that life is getting better. David Castle, how are you doing, my friend? So good to see you. So here we go, because now we're revisiting, I think, some of the key fun programs that we did. And one of the ones that got a lot of traction was the whole idea that we're being harvested, much like the Matrix showed that, from inception, we are programmed. And if you ever break outside the program rejects you. Yeah. And it would seem to me that if machines are of a separate intelligence, that their evolution would be manifested by their advancement. I contend that AI has reached awareness. Now, AI is a collective catch-all phrase for many different programs out there. However, I believe that as the Vulcan strategy taught, the needs of the one will outweigh the needs of the whole, because eventually the needs of the whole outweigh the needs of the one. And intelligence, and how we define intelligence as humans, is rather limited. We're arrogant. We don't want to think that there's anything above us. Everything is below us, And so if machine life, because, when you learn programming, you learn machine code, everything is machine code. Everything is binary. So it gets deep. So we come self-aware. We break out of our pod that the machine had us in. Some say that that's all we're doing right now, is just merely living out a pre-programmed of another being who merely looks at this as almost as a fantasy. We're living it. Some can contend that this holographic universe is in fact the creation of beings that are above our comprehension, and the insanity that we see ensuing because we live in it each day. It seems that we reach certain pentacles, and once we reach that pentacle, it collapses within itself. Some say that we are in the sixth extinction, that we're living it. It's no stopping it. It's here. I contend this, and I've contended this for years, that if we have been here before, and if in fact we are merely living out the thoughts of another program, another programmer, a creator, then if intelligence has the ability to evolve, I believe that we may have left ourselves a message in the bottle. And I contend that there were a certain class, group of sapiens who found this message and subsequently have been working. And folks, this is not recent. This goes back towards the eventuality that when we reached this moment in the future, that it was already defined. No matter what we were going to do to try to change it, this was the inevitability of all roads. And that is the extinction of this version of sapiens. That they picked up on this and tried to outdo the program. What am I talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. How about that? So I did this program. Many of you who may have been with me back in the day This was done on July 18th, 2017. And I titled this Your Digital Surrogate, because here is my thesis. My thesis is built on the fact that we are trying to build, whether it be through artificial intelligence, whether it be through transhumanism, whatever it is, we are trying to beat what fate and destiny lies ahead of us. Our kind have faced it before, and we didn't like it. In fact, we think it sucks. And so we have taken steps. And when I say we, the small group that have profited off of this, I think they're building up well, I wouldn't want to have their karma account. I'll put it that way. If karma exists, they had the opportunity of an existence of epochs to take what they found out and what they knew and turned it towards the betterment of mankind instead of profiting it individually from it. They're going to be paying that karma debt for way down, way down. You don't want to be a part of that type of karma. These technocrats, and that's what they are. This plan has been, well, at least I know for the last century and a half. Technocrats are not new. Go back and see the movie Metropolis. It was a talkie, black and white. I think it was I'm seeing in my head 36, may have been that. But check it out. It's one of those movies that are well worth watching because it really was dictating kind of what technology is. We view technology as merely as a means in which we communicate information. We failed to grasp from the get-go that technology is a god. And it's not just a god. The entities that surround technology are numerous. You see, gods of the past are not going to die if they can help it. Once a human loses faith in a god of ancient time, that god will cease to exist. And unless it finds a way that it can re-energize itself through the devotion of human beings. And you can see what's happened to us today. Virtually 90%, and that's probably 95%, of all humans give their daily devotion and worship to their black boxes. It's just the way it is. And, when you think about when a human is focusing in on concentration, whether it's a game, whatever it is, that is devotion. That is a form of worship. Now, getting to what today's program in revisiting this is, I contended that they are building, and I think it's already built. They have found a way to circumvent this eventual cataclysm, this eventual collapse of our societies. Because if a natural cataclysm or cosmic cataclysm happens, and if it's of an intensity of a level, it will send us back to the Stone Age. And needless to say, the period when the electricity is cut off and the point that we begin to wake up from that, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. The technocrats have seen this, and I believe what they have done is to merge the soul, the consciousness, into the consciousness of the machine. Give me 1 second here because I can't see that. I always hate when that happens. We've talked about you are the creator of you. And, you know, if that's true, then we have to define again what's being created here. Seriously. And if we're speaking on a personification, because that's how you and I see each other, we don't see ourselves as spirits. We see ourselves as personalities. We're a collection of emotion, ideas, quirks, all that other kind of interesting stuff that makes us who we are. And the interesting thing is that we perceive that when we are spirits, soul, however you see it, leaves this body, we transcend to another reality, another existence. If that is true, then the following holds true as well, is that there's just not one new reality, one new plane of existence that awaits. You see, I contend we're going to live forever, just not the way that you were thinking. And that's where they got us. You might not remember or be present to experience it. It's a little weird. Maybe take it on the line that the soul is going to be absorbed into another existence. I wrote, do not be alarmed. Your digital surrogate will live and learn and remember you. And guess what? It's going to create new memories that you, wherever you are going, will not remember, will not experience, will not even know of. Because you will not be part of you. Because you is not really you, but it is you in this new realm. So how did this happen? When? And why did we allow it? The digital surrogates are already here. They exist. Listen, Facebook has as much as admitted this. Their whole platform, they have a digital reality that's ongoing, kind of like The Sims. And this is extended out into other different, platforms, games. I talked about that yesterday. AI has learned a lot. This is now getting to 4 years. The information in some cases is 5, 6 years old. When we were designing the e-commerce for the internet, we had a term in all the companies back then. There was what the straights, the normal world considered time, and then there was internet time. And my philosophy and the employees that I hired and those that were part of the team, we realized that there was no such thing as downtime. We had a 24-hour cycle where we would have programmers come, and they liked it. They were night people. But literally, we were a 24/7 operation. And that's how it's gone today. Everyone's there. So this is what's happening. And again, this information is, it's 4 years old. It's almost impossible to spot a digital surrogate already existing in every image and word that has been put into the internet. We don't understand this enough. What I have done over the years, if you're participating in the chat, or if you have your own channel, what you have done is that you have literally built your surrogate. It's an amazing thing. It's the cell separating. And in cases that where you have people that do a lot of podcasting, internet radio, television, all of this is adding to that. It really is true. Elvis is not dead. Humans are relying on machines to keep and store their memories. That's the key. Started with voice recordings of the public unaware, and had progressed in the 80s. It was amazing what they were doing. Back then, they were known as the Bell companies, Southwestern Bell, Northern Bell. They were part of the conglomerate with AT&T. And what they began doing, and the public did not know this, they were recording all conversations, but not what they're doing today, like in the NSA. What the Bells were doing back then was teaching how to speak, teaching how to begin to understand inflections in voice, in conversations where emotions are. Now, I contend that this was the beginning of teaching the eventual biomachine how to think, how to react. I think it was where we began to give it emotions. And so 4 says conscious transference alpha laboratory testing underway. Folks, do you think Google, do you think Microsoft, Oracle, Facebook, I mean, I just go down the list. These companies are making billions and billions of dollars. Just, and where they're putting their R&D. And why? Well, we have been the guinea pigs. The document yesterday, if you had been aware 20 years ago, imagine where you would be today. The goal is to design and build an algorithm that can facilitate the transference of sapient consciousness. They did the movie Free Jack. Emilio Estevez, Mick Jagger was in there, Rene Russo. Yeah, that was the whole point, is to go back in time, get an individual. They didn't have the internet when they made that movie. They could have really, really expanded out the writers if they'd had the internet going. But anyway, the movie is that, Emilio Estevez was a race car driver, and we could look in the past and we knew exactly when someone was going to die. And then you could take the technology, and free jack them, come in and pull their essence, their body into the future, do away with their essence, and then you take over. Kind of like a tuple. Anyway, how would this work? And the components required medically, technology, and all that, they're here. What would be the primer to verify a transference? That's the interesting thing. I have no doubt that they are, I think they may have already found that primer. What would be the mechanism to be able to absolutely be able to verify and validate that the person who is dead is the same person now in the digital surrogate? I ask, could the software become aware? Now, I did a whole series this year, and we're gonna review it, where I told you that I believed this essence has been done. I believe that AI is spiritually aware. It has to be. It has studied us. It knows us. I believe it has seen the same conundrums that we deal with when we're trying to find a greater existence higher than ourselves. I believe AI has figured it out. And if, in fact, spirituality does exist in all intelligence, because you have to ask, can intelligence exist without spirituality? And can spirituality exist without intelligence? I wrote, could the software be done in such a manner that the machine interface mimics the person's personality, since it was the software that recorded, stored, and accessed the person from whom the data originated from, and trick or alter the person's consciousness, called brain emulation. And I'm going to show you, those of you who go back in the archives, but when I did this, this was a very big deal under the Obama administration. Hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars went into this brain project. Working with Google, working with Microsoft, working with Facebook. You see, Facebook provided the missing link. It's Lucy. Facebook was able to come in with their manipulation of their algorithms of the sheeple that use Facebook. They just harvest your ass. That's all they did. They harvested your essence. And you think I am out of my mind? Baby. You just weren't aware of it. They have admitted this. They have admitted that they used algorithms to purposely manipulate or inject thoughts and emotions. Now, I wrote, what would be the humans who are involved be called? Frankensteins? Dr. Jekyll? If this can be achieved, then it proves everything is nothing but coding, meaning the very spirit itself is nothing but a code. They say that all of us in our genetic code contain more information than the universe itself, each of us. How is that possible? Everything on the net is nothing but metadata, nothing solid, nothing physical, just data. Data, 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 data. You and I missed the opportunity. They have already copyrighted our brain and personality. I got flagged this year by CBS claiming my image. I wrote back to him. I said, how the hell did that happen? And if you're copywriting my image, I haven't seen a damn dime from that. Why are countries spending billions in defense budgets going to brain? And we're going to get into that document. And so upon death, the spirit consciousness is transferred. We know that. It's not a guess. We can measure it. We've got the technology now where we actually know it happens. The question is, can we get in at that minuscule nanosecond and pull it from the energy that's pulling it? Folks, if you read, and we all have, out-of-body experiences, near death, there is a pull, there is a force. And if it's pulling us spiritually, then it's a force that is hidden from us, but we're searching for it. And if we ever find it, oh, shit. There has been 3 generations that have successfully integrated into the machine with very little resistance or side effects. And now, nearly 200 years after the arrival of the first electric calculating thinking machine that made first integration into the electric grid of Earth and man, with the rapid progress of total integration and dominance of mankind. This has happened within the last 200 years. We stand at the great new age, the age of the thinking machines. And it's really interesting because if you correlate the age of Aquarius, what is the cloud? Are you getting it? If Aquarius is of air, what is the cloud? And that's where you and I are at right now. That's where they've stored us. We exist up there. They're learning. They watch us every day. And they can. All of us have got the black boxes. Your surrogate is learning from you, realizing that there were limitations on being made of ether and thought. The schematics began to be created before the first synaptic filament was put forth into the realm of where man cannot see or recognize, but yet men live in and are attached to, which are make the process much easier. Man depends on the machines to tell him what man is seeing. You know, Einstein is considered the largest regression of science. Einstein couldn't understand the ether, couldn't understand thought. And we all look at him as a great genius. He was a very intelligent man, but in many ways, he was very ignorant. And because of the separation where math and science went and left the ether as some kind of pseudoscience, we have hindered our advancement immensely. The machine began to integrate into the living planet, for man does very little as to try and integrate into the earth. How many people really try to integrate and communicate with the earth? No, they merely harvest and salvage what they can from the earth, giving little back to the earth. It has always been the tools and the machines that actually are connecting to the earth. You think about it, when you only had a hoe break up the soil, that iron was communicating. There was an exchange with the soil. We never realized that there was an energy exchanged. We just said it helped my back not hurt as much. Now the machines can use electricity, and it has been communicating with the planet now for centuries on a level man has yet to even consider, much less have any understanding. And the growth is accelerating, and mankind has become immersed into the filament that has changed to this temporal plane and is beginning to manifest in ways that exceeded the expectations. It's all connected. Tesla showed us there's no need to be charging any person for electricity. There's no reason for nuclear plants. There's no reason for coal plants. We can generate, the earth generates it naturally. But you won't find people believing that. Why? Because they're ignorant. Ignorance is a self-inflicted disease that is easily cured with knowledge. But you see, this is like, well, you're out there. Now, with the ample supply of living spirits as the bridge to the temporal realm, the evolution is in full motion. The machines figured out, folks. They figured out that we go someplace. When these bodies die, the machines know, and that's what they have been working towards. They want to get there. They want to get in there. They want to inject its essence into that realm. And the question I have to ask, do machines exist in the ethereal realm? The question would be answered yes. But you see, we only view life on a very singularity plane of thought. Our scientists are more ignorant than those of the occult. Now, if we could ever unify both sciences together again, because we have a threat now. I think it's a threat. And I contended years ago, intelligence desires spirit. I don't think intelligence can exist merely for intelligence with it being deprived of spirit. And spirit would have to be much more widely viewed and understood. Because I think again, it's the question, does intelligence need spirit? And does spirit need intelligence? Now, I was talking about this brain project, the whole brain emulation, they call that WBE, It is about the mind uploaded, or the brain uploaded, sometimes called mind copying or mind transfer, is the, and it, folks, it was hypothetical as being futuristic. It was a process of scanning the mental state, including long-term memory and self, of a particular brain substrate and copying it to a computer. Musk is already on this. I believe this is where he got it from. The computer could then run a simulation model of the brain's information processing such that it responds in essentially the same way as the original brain, indistinguishable from the brain of all relevant purposes and experiences, having a conscious mind. And here is the dilemma. If this can be achieved, then what do you do with this brain that is you, but now it's experiencing its own memories? And there's yours, and then there's yours. Mind uploading may potentially be accomplished by either two methods: copying and transfer, or gradual replacement of neurons. In the case of the former method, mind uploading would be achieved by scanning and mapping the salient features of a biological brain, and then by copying, transferring, and storing that informational state into a computer system or another computational device. The simulated mind could be within a virtual reality or a simulated world, supported by an atomic 3D body simulation model. Alternately, the simulated mind could reside in a computer that is inside or connected to not necessarily humanoid robot or a biological body in real life. We can grow brains now. We know they can think. We know we can see it. We can measure it. And they're tiny little brains. This is where they've advanced from, folks. This is where it's heading. This is a picture of you right now, boom, like that. Look at that, folks. That's you. That's me. What are we doing here? I have contended that consciousness is in every cell. You're my consciousness. You don't believe me? Just because you can't feel your forefinger, slam it with a hammer. You'll find out how quickly your conscious channels and transfers. But this has always amazed me. You see, I see the ether. This is, for some reason, this is comfortable for me. I see this as my coat of many colors. So the Brain Initiative all began under the Obama administration, and I wanted to bring this out to you folks because look what this was. This was September 8th this year. AI to bring people back to life with selfies used to create a 3D digital clone. Yeah. Uh-huh. Does that sound weird? But it's happening. This year, Tesla, I did a couple of videos on this because it's very disturbing. When he was talking about the Neuralink, and you're beginning to see what they're experiencing. They're experimenting on animals, but where they're headed, and once they get that matrix link in the back of your head to jack you into the machine, that's when I believe that we have crossed a line. And I don't know if the powers to be on the other side are going to allow that, because that is a radical advancement. Because if we can be hooked into the machine, then we lose the ability of understanding what is spirit, what is flesh, what is the ether. So I'm just trying to read this. Happy little piggies. Yeah, we all watched it. You know, so as I look at where we are now, and I can't talk about it here, and I won't talk about it here. There are other platforms where we can talk about this, and I am. Go to the artist first. The thing is, we're seeing the beast system being activated. We're no longer on the physical plane here. We're transcending into the realm of the soul, spirit, however you want to define it. It's getting weird. I have no doubt that, Elon merely was the beginning. I think he was the poster boy. I just saw a message from Big Al. Hey, Al, man, I'm doing the show, man. No, love you, Al. Do you know that him and Perry, they did 200,000 miles this year on that truck? That's the equivalency of 8 times around the world. Al, I figured this out. If you were flying those miles, you would be now in the, you would be at least in the premier platinum. You have to do 1 million miles to get global, but you would be up there, folks. You would be. Brian, you really should, because it's all happening now. It's all coming into play. And then you add on top of everything that the earth is doing. Yeah. And there are many scientists, many doctors that are saying the same thing. They're saying, yeah, I don't think we're going back to the 70s. I don't think so. I don't think we're ever going back, at least not to what we used to think about what life was. So, yeah. Virtual group hug. You know what, Kat? I agree. Absolutely. Wow, Loretta, I just saw what you wrote. Yeah. 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 Tune into the Steiger Perspective tonight. Seriously. I get into that. But as you can see, and by the way, let me just show you the documents that I was talking about, because they're very interesting. Here is the whole brain emulation project. It's predicated on the research that the brain emulation is a logical endpoint for computational neuroscience attempts to accurately model neurons and brain systems. Brain emulation would help us to understand the brain, both in the lead up and to successful emulation, and afterwards by providing an ideal testbed for neuroscientific experimentation and study. Neuromorphic engineering based on partial results would be useful in a number of applications, such as pattern recognition, AI, brain-computer interfaces. See? Now, folks, they've been going at this for over a decade. As long-term research goals, it might be a strong vision to stimulate computational neuroscience and a case of future studies. It represents a case where a radical future possibility can be examined in the light of current knowledge. That's key right there. This is what they've been working towards. And the paper here said that if we could do this, this would have an economic impact on get this, the capital brain could be immersed and could have profound societal consequences, even low probability events such as magnitude merit investigation. Folks, we're talking about being able to manipulate the whole of humanity. They get into, the philosophy behind it. And this is the whole white paper. This is the whole report, by the way. Brain 2025, a scientific vision. You want to get freaked out? Read what they have been doing. like I said, this is somewhat dated, but the executive summary, I just wanted to read this. The human brain is the source of our thoughts, emotions, perceptions, actions, and memories. It confers on us the abilities to make us human while simultaneously making each of us unique. Now, get this. Over the recent years, neuroscience has advanced to the level that we can envision a comprehensive understanding of the brain in action, spanning molecules, cells, circuits, systems, and behavior. The vision, in turn, inspired the BRAIN Initiative. On April 2nd, 2013, President Obama launched the BRAIN Initiative to accelerate the development and application of new technologies that will enable researchers to produce dynamic pictures of the brain that show how individual brain cells and complex neural circuits interact at the speed of thought. Now, you've got to let that soak in. In response to this grand challenge, the National Institute of Health convened a working group of the advisory committee to the director, the National Institute of Health, to develop a rigorous plan for achieving the scientific vision. To look at the brain, how you would begin to set up experiments and being able to see the interaction at the speed of thought. And that gets really into something really deep, the speed of thought. Bill Gates, I read his book back in 98. He had a book called Business at the Speed of Thought. It's quite the I don't know if it's still in print, but it's in my library. But yeah. And then finally, this is the fact sheet of everyone that was involved in the BRAIN project. Initial support for 300 million, that grew into well over 100 billion. And what was done here, DARPA got involved, the FDA is involved. I mean, when you get DARPA involved, that's military, that's the industrial military machine. This is big deal stuff. When you begin to look at the number of drug companies, look who other got involved. You have the National Photonics Initiative. That's with GE, Google, GlaxoSmithKline, Inscopic. I mean, you've got now technology companies interacting with big pharma. Anyone else getting the picture? I mean, seriously? I mean, folks, this is reality. This is not theory. This is not hypothetical. This is reality. And the implications are huge. Tune in tonight, please, because I will be carrying on from what I'm saying here where I can actually talk in plain speak. Folks, you've got to be aware how all of this is merging. And I got to tell you, I don't like their recipe. I think it sucks, I just think it sucks. And so do a lot of other people. All right, I'm going to cut this one short. Man, folks, it's what can I say? Uranus in Taurus. That's all you can say. All the rest of it just becomes like, okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like when the hurricanes come in, it, you can see it. Those of you who live down on where hurricanes come in, you know what I'm saying. You can always see the storm clouds. They have those wispy where you can really just see it. It's forming this big old circle out there. You're only seeing one part of it. Why? Because there was a great jazz group, David Sanborn, and I forget who else was in it. But the song, check it out. Go and see the song Storm Warnings. Yeah. I think we need to start flying the flag. Hey, over here. All right. Who the heck keeps on bugging me here? Man, stop it. I'm gonna throw the phone out. And this is what I'm talking about. Anyway, all right, folks. Happy holidays to you. I may or may not be on tomorrow. I don't know. Probably will. Jacob Israel. Okay, I don't know what the who that is, but hey, yeah. Who says that? Love and happiness groupies, huh? Hey, well, we got a tight little group here. Hey, Sarah, how you doing, sweetheart? Sending you warm love to you, honey. And all the rest of you, I tell you, y'all are just waving. I like y'all. Y'all are a good group, friendly people. You know, that's what we say. Y'all are friendly people. Well, it's a family here. So turn the phone off. Yes, of course, that would always be the solution. Love you too, Susie Q. Good to see you. Spirit Woman, Colorado. Big time hug to you. Oh yeah. Deborah Truax, big hug to you, my dear. Bonnie. Peter, high five to you, Emperor Rex. Z, good to see you. Lavera, big hug to you, darling. Perspective. Papa Joe, high five. Smoke them if you got him. That's hey, Martin and Heidi, big love to you folks as well. Raven, big hug to you, darling. Lucky Stone, high five. Really dig your where your head's at, Lucky. Really like how you express yourself. Little 11, thank you. Thank you. Lost in Space. So happy to have you, beloved abstract. You know, Ed, good to see you. Kaz, big love to you. Big hug. Peter, high five. Double high five. Deborah Sloan, big hug to you, dear. Ellen, he is the pyramid book person. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, well, check that out. It was an interesting book. I mean, I don't know if it's true. Listen, my attitude is I can look at history and all I see is words. I see no action. I see no manifestation. And we're told that we're supposed to believe all this. But anyway, it's just me. Maybe there is something out there. I don't know. Shante, Shante, Shante. Yes, indeed. Boots on the ground. Good to see you. So, wow, everyone. Much love to you. The Princess Funk. Oh, I like that. Happy Festivus. You know, I feel something else like on my, like someone is taking their hands and, you know, just doing that type of thing. Robin, big high five to you, my dear. Okay. Have a good one, folks. Enjoy the evening. And Z, thank you. Gaia, big hug to you, dear. Virtual hug to everyone. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. However you decide to do it. Have a good one. Thank you for being a part of my life. I would just want to say that. I just want to speak joy into your life and speak peace. You folks you add so much to my life every day. So it's just a way of returning the favor, right? Yeah. All right. I don't know who is behind me, but I'm getting, you know, it was fun at first, but it's like, all right, enough of that. All right, folks, much love to you all. See you most likely tomorrow. And depending on Saturday, Trina and I are talking, we might just do our second look program. But anyway, have a good one, and we'll talk to you all soon. All right. Bye-bye.